not only one, but one of the main rule. Our team already work if the Ukrainian flag on our central square, on our city council, and it was not. Russians can't understand why it's so important for me. Because we was elected by Ukrainian law, by Ukrainian civilians. That's why it's very important for us. And if you look to the short history, till they kidnapped me, Ukrainian flag was on the central square. And a very interesting thing, every day, maybe 2 or 3 times per day, I go and make a video on a screen with the flag, yes, and every next morning they come to me and ask, please, okay flag, but didn't make video.
Don't do the video in front of it.
Didn't make video. I said, no, it's impossible. I want to do it. And of course I understood that this video they have a call or conversation from Moscow, like what's happening in Melitopol. We know
why you can't control this guy.
Why you can't control? What is the matter? What's happened? But of course nobody from us can expect that they will kidnap me, and we can't expect it because before my kidnapping, nobody of my colleague was kidnapped. Such.
But it's against the Geneva Convention to kidnap.
Sorry?
It's against the Geneva Convention to kidnap civilians, right? Like this is
Geneva Convention.
Well, this is back when maybe that mattered, you know?
There is. I think all of us now agree that nobody international rules and not anyone international document work now in war between Russians and Ukraine. Not anyone. What Geneva Convention? In Geneva Conventions we must have possibility to evacuate our citizens. Now there is no possibility. About evacuation we have last example when 1 month ago we wrote against letter for Russians and ask them give us possibility, give us green corridor to evacuate our citizens, because maybe you heard about situation in Vasilivka when thousands of cars and thousands of citizens just wait and sleep on a road 5-7 days. That's why we ask give us green corridor, but Russians have a very interesting answer for our letter. They said that they asked their representatives in Melitopol and had answered that nobody from Melitopol want to leave occupied cities. That's why Federov didn't understand anything. It's not true. It's amazing. In Vasilivka, thousands of our citizens, but they wrote nobody wants.
Well, we were at the evacuation center and we saw hundreds of cars coming in. People been on the road for days trying to get out.
But Russian thing, and it is one of example of a Geneva Convention. What Geneva Convention? No, that's why when they kidnapped me, of course, I can't say that we didn't expect it, but we didn't expect it so fast. So fast. Of course, we understood that when the Russians will have really power on territory, when they already find representatives, locals who can help them and who can collaborate with them, then they will say for us, go away.
Not kidnap you, but replace you.
Go away. Yes. Because, and also I proposed them 2 or 3 times. I understood that they had a greatest power around the city and inside the city, because they have a greatest weapons, military trucks, tanks, artillery, and we have only 2 or 3 rubbish cars and and 10 ambulance cars, and that's all what that's all weapons that we had. That's why it is not the same power, of course. That's why I had propositions for them. I said that I can go Of course, I can go out. If you ask me, I can leave city, but you must understand that you will have big communal problems in Melitopol. Now you have water, electricity, light on the streets, but when we go out from a city, you will not have it. And now it's this situation. And of course, I want to pay attention for one very interesting fact about Melitopol, that we had now very small collaboration in Melitopol. For example, of course, not anyone wise mayor collaborate with Russian. Not anyone head of department collaborate with Russian. Only few wise heads of structures agree to give support to Russians. It's very important for us. It's good show that really nobody, not anyone person who have a head and have some mind don't want to collaborate with us. And we have two good examples. First about our teachers, second about our doctors. About our teachers, not anyone head of school or kindergarten agreed to give support to Russians. Less than 10%. In our education department we have 2,800 staff, teachers, technical staff and other, and only 300 agreed to give support. Less bigger than 10%, but almost it is not teachers but technical staff. And I understood why they give collaboration, because it's very cheaper guys and they need some money, and it's not a problem. And for example, about our doctors, not anyone our Ukrainian doctor agreed to go to help to the Russians military hospital. Yes,
that's fantastic.
Yes, and it is a very great support for us. That's why we see the picture in Melitopol. Maybe you know that they try to prepare for referendum, for fake referendum. It is
not a referendum.
Not referendum, fake referendum. Yes, and now we have reports. 2 weeks ago they go for flats and houses and try to make questions for our citizens and ask questions for our citizens. And our citizens answered almost in 90% that they don't want to live in Russia.
Even though that's a risk, right? The pressure.
It's a great risk
to say this.
It's a great risk because 6 months, more than 6 months occupation, fully Russian invasion, many Russian soldiers, many Russians around inside city, and now only 10% said okay, we agree to stay with Russian. For me it's a really interesting fact because I expect more percent. And it's understandable for me why more, but it is not understandable for me why 10%.
Because you had a great city, you know. It's, people didn't want this invasion.
Of course, don't want, but you know, they're scary, they're afraid, and
there's a lot of pressure to.
It's a greatest pressure, and we need to see one more fact. More than 4 months, there is no good information media in our territory because Russians fully close internet, fully close network connections, fully close TV, fully close newspaper. That's why last 4 months work good only Russian propaganda. That's why it's more interesting fact.
There's still only 10%.
Of course, only 10%. Russian propaganda work very good. If you look at history till last 10 years, all European Union, all United States just start to trust Russian propaganda.
Well, look, it works on the Russian people.
Yes.
Maybe that says more about the Russian people than anything.
Not only Russian.
Not only Russian.
I think that and many European countries also start to trust. Of course, many European countries last 10 years make the greatest business with Russians. Yes, economic, steel, trading, and many.
And what happened when they kidnapped you? Why did they kidnap you? Not just tell you to leave. We'll put our own there.
First of all, for them, Melitopol it is very. For them, Melitopol it is a very important city because now it's a logistic center. It's a middle of occupied Zaporizhia region, and that's why for them it is a very important city. Second, Melitopol it's a best example of a reform of decentralization, and in Melitopol we have good examples of cooperation with European structures, European.
Your roads, you rebuilt all your roads.
It is not only roads; it's a system job to make a European future in our city. Roads, schools, kindergartens, buildings of culture, swimming pools, ice center, and other things. And by last 8 years, we already changed the mind of our citizens, and now our citizens start to be pro-European with a mind of European future. That's why on Melitopol they try to show example what they can do if legally elected representative, mayors, vice mayors, deputies didn't want to agree to give support to Russians. That's why they come.
So you're an example.
Yes, I'm an example.
So everyone else would be scared.
Yes, I'm an example. Because many of my colleagues every day call me from Tokmak, from Berdyansk, from Novaya Kakhovka, from Kherson. We regularly spoke every day. We spoke with them, and they ask what I will do, and they want to do the same things. That's why they come to our office at 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. Tie us hands, bring a bag to my head, and
so they tied your hand?
Yes, of course, and deliver it to prison. Yes.
Wow.
It is.
But they didn't say to you, give you an ultimatum, like work with us or
they make such proposition earlier, but of course I said no. They asked me many times to go to Central Square and said to our citizens, okay, my dear citizens, let's go to Russia.
Wow.
I think it's impossible. Because it is, of course, I don't want, but our citizens didn't want it. It's it's not work such. It's not workable organism. Yes. And bring me to prison, and was very ununderstandable situation for me because I have no answer on very simple questions. How long I will live? Second, how long I will spend on a prison? Where are my friends? Where are my team? Where are my parents? What's happened with them? And nobody can.
They didn't answer?
No, of course not. Of course not. Of course not. They only ask question, but not answer mine. Yes, and first day it was most hot day. Next days start to be more easy, but I have no answer for this question yet. And of course, it is very important that my colleagues, that my friends, that my partners make a huge information company all over the world, international media.
We saw it in Australia, everywhere.
International media, European governor structures, European parliamentarians make a huge company about make me free, about make all possible to save my life. And of course, it's a great decision to make to stay in prison. So it is a very short period, 6 days. Of course, somebody spent in a prison 3 hours, but 6 days it's.
6 days would have felt longer than 6 days, though. It felt like a long time.
Yes, but for example, of course, we examples when child 16 years old, 6 years old, spent on prison more than 2 months. That's why 6 days it's good, but of course.
Did they threaten you, or what did they want?
They didn't beat me. Didn't beat me, but they make a very long, two most hard things. First of all, in the next cameras, in the next rooms on a prison, they really make torches for our civilians, which Russian think that it is our partisans, and they really make torches. They wounded them. Yes, they cry all over the prison, and of course I understood that for Russian it costs nothing to come to my camera and make the same, because all of us understood that Geneva Convention costs zero, and citizens' life costs zero for Russian, and if they kill me, maybe nobody can know about it. And second, most hard thing, it's a very long conversation with Russians. It's regular was on night. They come with soldiers, with Russian soldiers, some officers from secret services from Russian, and had many questions for 3 hours, 5 hours until a deep night, and it was very hard. That's why, but it's experience for me. Now I can speak about it with a smile, and
makes you stronger.
Of course, it's make me stronger, our team stronger,
more committed. Your story makes millions of people want to.
Yes, and it is make our country stronger.
Yeah. Well, it's an incredible story.
I hope such story never come back to my life.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I can't imagine. You know, we at our council we deal with roads, we deal with garbage, and then the next day you're dealing with Russians taking you to prison. I mean, almost overnight. So it's a shock.
Do you for a long time in Zaporizhia?
No, till tomorrow.
Till tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. What plans? What questions? What support you need from us?
No, I think it's just fantastic to hear your story. I would love to tell your story in Australia.
Thank you.
Yeah,
when we win, we will come to Australia.
Oh, absolutely. We will have the biggest party.
You'll be our guest. It will be a greatest party.
Yeah, exactly. So we'd really love to know how we can help you more. I've been to the evacuation centre. I think that's one thing we want to help people who don't have money and people who don't have vehicles to be able to get out. I think one of the things that left after my last trip in my mind was really that freedom shouldn't be about how much money you have. Everyone should have the same opportunity to make it out of temporarily occupied areas. And I think this is something I'd love to...
We try to make special payments for those citizens who want to leave occupied territories. Now we speak about this with our central government, with ministers and other, because we need to have a special rules for those citizens who want to leave occupied territories and give them support, and first of all support, of course, on money.
And what message would you have to people about how can we put pressure on Russia to open a green corridor out?
I think it is not only use a green corridor. I think that Australia also and all European countries now find a button what can stop Russians. You know what is the best sanctions for Russia? It's a close countries for Russia.
Visas.
Visas.
Tourist visas.
Visas.
Yeah.
It's a really they can't understand how. But if you think that Russian is good, live in Russian. Stay in Russian. It's the best country. Stay in Russian.
I can't understand how a Russian can go and be on a beach in Europe. Right?
And it is a very great decision. We can't speak only about green corridors. We can't speak only about humanitarian aid. We need to isolate all Russians from all civilized world. It's not a good position when their president, which they elected, kill our children. 362 children died from Russian shoots. And from another step, they visit all our European cities, European countries, and have American tourism, and it's impossible. We need to make isolations from Russia. When we already done it, they will push on their government, on their president, elect another democratic president, and we will see changes.
Yeah.
Because economic sanctions, it's a good, but it's on the future.
Yeah, takes
But
a long time.
isolation, it's a good now.
They want, yeah. So that's the simplest message: is Europe, the rest of the world, close your borders, close the
Yes.
borders to Russians.
Yes.
And you saw on social media, on the internet, how shocked
Yes.
everyone was when,
Yes.
when countries
Yes.
started to talk about this. I'm shocked that it hasn't happened sooner.
Yes.
Why it didn't happen day one?
I agree with you, but I hope it will be in the nearest future.
Yeah, I think the important message is you have to fix the problem.
Leon, Oslo, Marseille, Tirana, and other cities European. And what's important, I visit to them 2 times in the European Union, but I every time ask them, come to Ukraine. Don't didn't afraid because many presidents now visit. It's of course it's not safe, but I hope everything will be good. And on Sunday or Friday, I don't remember, we had visit to Ukraine, and now they understood what damages, what the Russians do on our land. They visit Ukraine, they visit Bucha, they visit special museum where we show all newest history of Russian and Ukrainian relationship, and it is very important to show what now Russians do. That's why when you come to Ukraine, it is really important to see by your own eyes, because from TV screens or iPhone messages, it is not a real situation, and you can't understand.
I felt this. I came to Ukraine for one time. I was going to bring 2 ambulances. Actually, the first ambulance, and that was it. I thought, I'm done. That's my. I will help. That's enough. And I came and I saw what they've done and how they've done it, and to who, to civilians more than the army. And that's when I decided I can't stop helping. So it's true. If everyone needs to come and see this with their own eyes, because it will change how you look at it. It's not something on the screen. It's every apartment that is destroyed is someone's life. Their clothes, their cars, their future, everything they've worked for.
Their life.
Their life. They have their life, but they don't have their life. Their life. And that is for every person that dies.
For long years, they just to find money to build their flats, to build their houses, to buy some goods, to buy some. To make some future for their child. By now, all of it broken.
And I think that's what people don't understand, that for every person that dies, 100 people have their lives taken away. They still live, but they have their lives taken away. It's 100 to 1 difference. So we have to get that message out that Russia. I mean, I was in Nikolaev yesterday, and you drive down the streets, and there's apartment buildings with rockets in them.
I thought I was on Nikolaev months ago.
Yeah, and there's no military around, nothing. This is people's apartments. It's indiscriminate every night, trying to break the will of the people. I think it has the reverse effect. Every trip I come, people are more committed in this country, which is fantastic. But yeah, I think the message that I have is, come and see it. Come to Ukraine.
Of course.
We need to do.
Welcome.
The world needs to do more.
Welcome to Ukraine.
Yeah.